Hiya, welcome to Bad Influence. We start the new year with a look at the newest format. Software on CD.
Our main review this week is the gorgeous looking Echo the Dolphin on the Mega Drive.
And I'll be explaining how powerful computers can be used to tinker with reality.
But first, there's only one game so good it appears on practically every format. Any idea what game it is? Well, it first appeared on the Amiga in 1991. It's completely original and it stars these small furry creatures who've got suicidal tendencies. It is, of course, Lemmings. This is the original version on the Amiga. And they all drop from this trap door in the ceiling, and you've got to guide them safely home to this door on the bottom right-hand side. Now, when they're in their first state, they just walk into things and walk off things. So you have to give them different skills. I've made this one into a digger, so he can dig down and they can get home, and this level's very easy because it's the first one. But in later games, you need to use all the various different skills to get the right way. For example, you can make them into floaters, so they float down from heights, or climbers, so they climb over things. Or you can nuke them. You just click on that, and you've got a 5-second countdown. 3, 2, 1. Ah!
She's rotten, isn't she? This is the same level on the Spectrum, which is a much older and simpler computer than the Amiga. But all the essential elements are there. Unfortunately, no mouse or joystick on this game, however. I have to move the cursor around using keys on the keypad, and then assign skills to the Lemmings by pressing another one, which I'll use with the thumb to make him a digger like that. Obviously, the graphics are quite limited, and there aren't many colours to play with either. And whereas in other versions of Lemmings you may be asked to deal with up to 80 or 100 on some of the more advanced levels, on this game you'll never be asked to deal with more than 20, which is about my limit, actually.
Actually, I do agree with that. Lemmings also need saving on consoles and handhelds. This is the version on the SNES. And on this one I have to make the Lemmings into blockers so that they don't fall off the platforms. And when you think things are going swimmingly, which they're not exactly at the moment, but now I've made that one a blocker they are, you can press on this and they come out 5 times faster, which means you can also test your skill because you've got to get there a lot quicker. And I think I'm going to lose a couple here. Ah! You can change the different skills by using these buttons. I'm going to get back onto blocker there, or I'll miss him. And on the other ones you use a mouse, and I think they're all going to go home there. The latest version of Lemmings is on the Game Boy. And as you can see, they're tiny backgrounds and tiny sprites, but it all works, and it's just as playable as ever.
Small might be beautiful, but this is state-of-the-art Lemmings. The game is exactly the same, but this is the Apple Macintosh version with wonderful graphics and digitised sound. On this level, whereas Violet was using the blockers to stop the Lemmings moving, I'm going to use the blocker and turn him into a bomber by selecting the explosion from the bottom set of tasks here. And then after the countdown, he will blow a hole in the floor there, and all the Lemmings will be able to walk through. I select another blocker, and I will position him right by this wall, and then I will give him the task of being a bomber as well, and then hopefully he'll blow a hole in that wall, and all the Lemmings will proceed home to base safely. Well, at least that's the theory.
If you fancy having a go at it yourself, all the details of the different Lemmings formats are at the end of the programme in the Data Blast. Our main review this week is Echo the Dolphin on the Mega Drive. Echo was a happy and carefree dolphin until a mysterious vortex ripped all life from the sea. Now he's got to swim around, find his friends and save the underwater world. Here's Alex.
This is a really unusual game. I've never seen anything like it before. It's great to see a fresh idea on the market. Echo can also use his sonar to talk to the inhabitants of the sea. Some of the puzzles are very hard. This whale obviously isn't going to help much in finding my pod, which in case you didn't know is a herd of dolphins. There's loads of things to do in this game. The crystal there is a key, which when you touch it gives you magical powers to open up different doors. You've also got to get air pockets. Because you're a mammal, you run out of air easily. You can also use the sonar to bring up this map. This shows you around the levels. Always keep your eye out for loose rocks and shells. They can come in handy. What I've got to do is, with this shell, is nudge it against the first rock, and then balance it upon my nose, and I can get through. There's loads of baddies on this level. These pufferfish you've got to headbutt and then you can get past them. Echo is fast, fun and very addictive. I gave this one 4 marks, and I'd definitely buy it. It'll last for ages.
This is really gorgeous. I like the fact that you've got to solve a mystery. This is a really brilliant game.
Everyone raves about this game, but I didn't like it that much. The graphics are good, and it's a good original idea, but it didn't keep me interested for long.
And so the final scores for Echo the Dolphin. The boys gave it an excellent 4 out of 5, and the girls liked it just as much. They gave it 4 out of 5 too.
Happy New Year, slimy fertilers. I hope you had a nice one and got all the rappy-uppy things that you wanted. I got loads and loads of cards, and here it is. Thank you very much, Daniel Chant from Gillingham. Anyway, on with the 1993 cheats. Now this one is for a game called Swith on the Amiga. All you have to do is pause the game, then type in NCC-1701. Then unpause the game, and you've got infinite lives. Oh, all right then, it's not a very good cheat, but I've got a headache. Oh, turn it down. Clear off.
Computers and special effects, they're something you tend to associate with movies and the silver screen, but actually some of the best effects around aren't on the big screen at all. This is a commercial. It uses state-of-the-art 3D graphics and was made not in Hollywood, but in London at the Moving Picture Company. Gareth Edwards, the designer, explains how it's done.
This is the live action after it's been transferred from film onto video.
So where do you actually start once you've got your live action footage inside your computer screen?
Well, once I've got this picture into the computer's memory, I can digitize or trace a computer graphics line around the silhouette of the character, like this. And while I finish doing the dot to dot, I can then tell a computer that that is where the object is, and it'll remember it.
Right.
Which is like the very first place where we start with the transformation from a two-dimensional picture into a three-dimensional object. Now I can tell a computer to go into its animation mode and play back for me the frames that I've digitized into the computer's memory. Once I've done that, once I've got the silhouette of the object, and I've got a rough position for the arms, I can actually go ahead and start getting complicated, which actually means doing all the bendy bits.
Oh dear,
which is the...
It gets complicated now.
It gets complicated.
Using a feature called a shader ball, Gareth can start to put shading on the graphic. He then adds the lettering and a bit of texture until he gets the right look.
And we add them together, we get that kind of effect. Now you can see the reflections on the surface there.
Yeah.
The reflections of that surface are created using this picture.
Why is there a haunted house on the screen?
Almost anything will do as long as it's the right kind of
Because it's moving
texture.
around so
That's
much
right.
and stuff, you're not really going to notice. How long has it taken you, the two of you together, to create this sequence?
Believe it or not, 7 weeks.
For how much actual animation on screen?
About 20 seconds.
When Gareth has finished making the three-dimensional computer graphic version of the biscuit wrapper, all that information is transferred onto another computer called a Harry. That's operated by Paul. What the Harry computer basically does is combine the real people and the computer graphic and make it all look, well, real, if you like. Where do you start, Paul?
This is the clean background as it was shot, like that. So first of all, we need to put the computer graphics on to make sure that it's going to fit.
Well, if Gareth got his dot-to-dot right, it should, shouldn't it?
Exactly. So there we can see the computer graphics being combined with the live-action background. Now the first thing we can see is that it looks stuck on, it looks very, very sharp. So we need to soften it. We also need to knock the colours back a little bit, just to make it sit in that bit more. To get rid of the arms, we take it into an area of the Harry called the paint box, which allows us to actually paint on the screen. So frame by frame, we have to cut out areas of the picture, and then we stick those down onto the area of the picture where the arms are, which enables us to remove the arms.
The Harry machine is the one which adds all the finishing touches. The one I like best is called motion blur. Get this.
The way we do the motion blur is we take it again into the paint box, and by using a function called cut and paste, we cut out a small area of the picture, and using that like a tool enables us to actually smudge the picture underneath. We can mimic that on the actual computer graphics to give it, again, that added little bit of realism.
So now you know of all the hard work and computer magic that goes into creating just one commercial. Now it's done, all we have to do is sit back and enjoy the finished product. And possibly a biscuit. Anyone?
Ooh, yes. If you've got a home computer, there are several graphics packages around that will let you produce and manipulate 3D images yourself. But now for this week's news and previews.
If you've already finished Sonic 2, take heart. This week saw Sonic Tuesday Mark II when the Game Genie codes were released for Sonic's second adventure. Now you can customise the game to set yourself new challenges, or if you're having problems, you can put in some brilliant cheats to get past the tricky bits. Enter NN8AAD2 to start Sonic with 99 lives. Or you can make Sonic invisible by typing in the code ALTACA8N, which makes the game a lot harder because you can't see him. But the best effect puts a rocket under Sonic so he whizzes through all the levels. Now you get that by entering CBVTCAE2. All 42 Sonic 2 Game Genie codes are in the data blast at the end of the show, and next week we're doing a special feature on cheat devices, so watch this space.
Here's a sneak preview of Dr. Franken 2, due out soon on the Game Boy. The stars are still the good Doctor's creations, Frankie and Bitsy. But this time our hero has a problem with the electricity board. He can't pay a mega bill, so he's got to hunt high and low in an effort to find old Dr. Frankenbone's money. Go to it, Frankie.
New Year's resolutions. Number 1, do not get kissed by Violet. Yes. Number 2, take less exercise. Yes. Right, Deep Techies, this is a cheat that lets you skip straight to level 2 on Steel Empire on the Mega Drive. All you do is hold down B and keep pressing start. Here we go, flicking through all the option screens. Wait for it, wait for it. There you are, on level 2. Amazing. Right, I better carry on with my New Year's resolutions. Number 3, be nicer to Spikey the Hedgehog. Yes, all right. Number 4, do not get kissed by Andy. Yes, that's a definite. Oh, horrid.
Don't worry, Nam. There's no chance of that. This is the latest Mega Drive from Japan. It's called the Mega CD, and not surprisingly, the software comes on CDs, which you pop in just like you do with your music centre at home, close it up, and then you have to select CD-ROM up here, press the A button, and sit back and enjoy some wonderful graphics. This is Afterburner 3, and as you can see, the graphic quality is quite incredible. It looks just like it does in the arcade. Amazing stuff. Mega CD games won't run any faster, but they will be bigger, and the reason is because you can get so much more information on a CD than you can on a standard console cartridge. For example, a CD could easily cope with all the information of this, the entire Oxford English Dictionary. In fact, this one does. All 20 volumes.
Ah! More lemmings! This is a CD TV, which is basically an Amiga painted black with a CD drive. You can also get the CD drive separately to plug into your telly so you can play your CD games that way. Basically, it works like a very powerful disk drive. This is a flight sim that's being developed for it. The fractal backgrounds are coming straight off the CD. Also, there are loads of educational packages and games that are currently being developed for it, but as it comes with keyboard, mouse and a floppy disk drive, you can play your older Amiga games on it while you're waiting.
This is the most user-friendly interactive CD system. It's called CD Interactive, or you can abbreviate it to CDI, and it's being sold heavily as a complete home entertainment system. Now, because you can get so much information on a CD, when it comes to games, you can really make use of that facility. This is a golf simulation. I'm on the first tee, ready to take my opening shot, but I'm facing in the wrong direction. So I'll move this little cursor thing and position myself so I'll shoot it down the middle of the fairway. Now, watch the guy move. Now I've decided what position I want to shoot it from. Look at that. It's like a real fella. I've already chosen the club I want, so now I've just got to give it a right good belt, and it should go straight down the middle. There's about 50,000 photographs to choose from on this CD, so wherever my ball has landed, in the water, unfortunately, the CD will be able to pick it out and show me exactly where I went. Of all the formats, I think this golf game is probably one of the best. There are other games around, but the hardware in the CD area is wonderful, but I think it would be fair to say that the software hasn't really caught up yet. You can also play your music CDs on this, and you can get TVs and films soon on CD as well, and the whole system of CDI is compatible with the Kodak Photo CD system that allows you to put your family snaps on a CD at somewhere like Boots.
Eventually, the manufacturers are hoping, can you hold this a second? They're hoping that instead of a computer, a console, a library full of books, an old shoebox full of snaps and a CD player, you will have one of these. It is a portable CD and computer. It's a Sony Data Discman, and whilst it can't do all the things that its brother can do, it's getting there and it's portable.
Oh. And now for some more games reviews. Magical Quest is yet another game starring Mickey Mouse. This time he's hot on the trail of his missing mate Pluto, who's been snatched by evil Emperor Pete, which I think you'll agree is a pretty cool name for an emperor. Here's Kathleen.
This is a lovely game. It's easy to pick up and very fun to play. You're in an enchanted world, so the most unusual things can happen. If you pick up these gold blocks, you can spin them and then you can get coins underneath. If you get this block and then throw it at the treasure chest, there's loads of coins underneath. If you go onto this tomato, it can protect you from spikes, so you just need to walk as fast as the tomato goes. This is an end-of-level boss. He shoots out these babies and you've got to try to kill them. And if you can spin them as well, and if you spin them, you can get extra points. If Mickey changes into different costumes, he gets extra magical powers. I love this game. It's just as good as Castle of Illusion.
It's nothing special. It's quite fun, but there's nothing original in it. I'm not a great fan of this one. It's not very interesting. It's just an average platform game.
And the scores for Magical Quest, the boys gave it an average score of 3 out of 5, but the girls liked it a bit more and they gave it 4 out of 5.
After all that conspicuous consumption over Christmas, here's a new game priced at a lean $7.99. The Galactic Warrior Rats, who actually look more like Galactic Warrior Globs to me, have a mission to find and destroy a computer which is set to blow up their world. Here's Matthew to help them.
This game is fast and full of baddies. Lots of weapons to choose from if you've got enough money. And there's some really good touches in the gameplay. This is a very good looking game in parts. Although the music is a bit poor, the sound effects are excellent. It only slows down when the action's very full. Right, I'm just going through the door here. You can pick up credits when you kill enemies, and you can use these towards buying weapons, ammo, coolant which reduces damage from enemies, or orbits which follow you around adding power to your fire. As you can see, you can't really afford to stop shooting for very long. I think this game's great value and a real challenge, but if you don't like fast shooting games, it's definitely not for you.
I like this. It's a playable, nice-looking game with great sound, and it's a bargain. This is not my sort of game. As soon as you get out of your base, you get shot at. I don't see the attraction in games like this.
And the scores for Galactic Warrior Rats, the boys gave it 3 out of 5, and the girls thought it was an average game as well. They gave it 3 out of 5.
Way! Way! Whoa! Here are some level codes for Space Harrier on the Game Gear. Right, I'm going to try level 9. I hope you've got your biros ready and jotting these down. Level 9. Right. B, F, C, H. Level 9. It works. It works. Hey! Beam me up, Strutty! Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Live long and prosper, Nam. If you want to record the data blast, set your video recorder now.
Last week's competition was to win loads of copies of the new Take That video, Take That and Party, and the winners' names are going across the bottom of the screen now. Congratulations to you. The competition question, you will recall, was what were the names of the 2 bands the boys were in before they formed Take That?
And the answer was The Cutest Rush and Street Beat. This week's competition prize is to win 5 copies of Lemmings. And the question is, are lemmings a type of rat, a type of guinea pig, or a type of squirrel?
Send your answer on a postcard or a stuck-down envelope to the usual address. Mark's competition to reach us no later than next Monday, please. And don't forget to tell us what format you would like Lemmings on. Hope you've enjoyed the programme. We'll see you next week at the same time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.